Yo, what up, YouTube? This is Sergio45, and today we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of communication, and let's jump right into it. The importance of communication is exactly what it sounds like. One thing I found is with any major organization, this is something that organizations constantly stress, but they constantly have to train and retrain on it because a lot of people don't do it or they don't do it well. One thing that I do is I over communicate, right? And this is examples of like, if I'm going somewhere, I let my boss know. If I have something going on, I let my boss know. But not only do I let my boss know, I let my teammates know. Like even something as simple as a text. We have so many outlets to communicate nowadays, whether it be like Facebook Messenger or normal text messaging, a phone call, FaceTime, WhatsApp, there's so many IG, there's so many different platforms that you can use to communicate anymore that it's crazy to see how many communication errors that people have on a daily basis. And I think about times like with my parents, I move a lot, right? Every few years I move somewhere new. I may not always be able to come home on time. I may not be able to always do things or answer the phone or whatever because I know I got a lot of stuff going on at work mostly. But I am a busy dude too. I'm all over the place. But I find that, just by simply sending a text message or giving a phone call or something, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing on this time or on this day at this time or et cetera, right? Or this just came up is always important, and it's more than just like, hey, I'm going something. What if you have somewhere, what if you have like an injury or something like that, right? Isn't that pretty important to communicate? Or, what if you're running late somewhere, instead of showing up 30 minutes an hour late, one thing you could do is be like, yo man, or hey mom, or whatever, I'm running late, especially if they're relying on you to be somewhere at a certain time, or your boss is relying on you to be somewhere at a certain time, or your spouse is relying on you to be somewhere at a certain time. I think it's super important, but it's something that in society we slack on, I think, whether it be at your job or at home or with your kids if you have them or whatever. And I know sometimes, we let things slip where you're like, oh, maybe that's not so important, but I think that if it seems like it may be important, it's something that, you should, or if you even have that slight thought, you should let somebody know. Another thing, when you're going to travel, somewhere, whether it be in the U.S. or outside of the U.S., or if you're from one country and you're going to another country or to another state or whatever the case may be, it's pretty important to let somebody know, or if you are living in another country, right, and you're from, the U.S., right, or whatever. Like I lived in Germany. One thing that we always did was if, you're planning on going somewhere on the weekend, like no matter what time it is, you just send a text. Like it could be 3 in the morning. Hey, I'm heading here, and then like, hey, I made it here. And then in between, if you have any issues, then somebody at least is accountable for you, or, where you're at, what you're doing. A lot of times it's good for them to know who you're with. If they can't contact you, then they know they have somebody that they can contact. You never know what's going to happen. And then the same thing can be applied here in the States, right? Just in the event that my family or my friends or my boss or, whomever is trying to get a hold of me, I pretty much will always let somebody know, hey, I'm going to do this. I mean, like, if I'm running to the store or something, I don't necessarily do that. But, if I'm going to be traveling somewhere, another thing, right, and this is a big one, especially in my job, like I said, we travel a lot. We work a lot of late hours. And, whenever I am married, I have a girlfriend now, but whenever I am married, whether it be her, if it's going to be her, we'll just leave it at that. I'd never want her to think that, like, if I'm working long hours, I got up, I left, at 5, I left at 6, I had to be somewhere at 6:30, and then I'm working until 6:30 or later, and you're wondering, like, why is Sergio working like so many hours every single day, or sometimes having to go in on the weekend? The last thing you ever want somebody to think is that maybe you're doing the wrong thing, doing things you shouldn't be doing, getting involved with other people, you catch my drift, that you shouldn't be. And that's one thing that I never want to happen or have to experience myself. And it happens a lot, especially with other people in my career field. It happens a lot. Not that they're actually doing things. It's just that their spouses don't understand that we have to work. We don't have a choice, right? But yeah, communication is extremely, extremely important. And, I just want to take a few minutes to express that, and then encourage other people to communicate more. I know this is not really a video about adding value or anything, but a lot of times it is. I remember when I first left the house and I came home and I was coming and going as I pleased, but I was also telling my parents like, hey, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm gonna do, all this stuff, right? And my dad's like, hey man, you're a grown man, you don't have to tell me what you're doing, you come and go as you please. But I'm like, no, I feel like I have to. And one thing, this lets you know that your parents will always, always, always still love you and consider you to be their children, right? When I'm coming home and I'm staying at their house or whatever, we finally chalked it up to like, you know what? He was like, you know what? I'm glad you tell me these things so that, in the middle of the night, I'm not up worried about you, or anything. I'm like, what are you worried about me for? And I'm like 18 at the time, so I didn't understand it quite as much as I do now as I grow and mature and all those things. But, that's just another example expressing just how important communication is, I can't stress that enough. I encourage more people to communicate with more people. We have too many outlets and too many resources to not be communicating. Another thing, when it comes to teamwork, right, at work or on a football field or basketball or baseball or whatever, right. Football is the ultimate team game, but you have to be able to communication can build trust, but once you trust somebody, you have to ensure that you still have to ensure that the other people are doing their jobs, or worry about your job and trust that they're going to do yours. Well, that's a form of communication in a sense. Sometimes it's they already know what's up because you've done it so many times, or they've you've proven it so many times, whatever it is, and they've done the same for you. And then also on top of that, another form of communication is I think they say 90% of communication is body language, right? Your face could say one thing. A lot of times if somebody's offended by something and they just are upset or something, they just let it go. You can see it in their face, like, okay, whatever. They can mask that. But a lot of times you can't mask the rest of your body. You start to react to it. So, and then another thing, how often do you tell, like, somebody didn't say anything? You can tell if they're sad or happy or mad or upset or anything just based off of facial expression or body language. So that's another thing that just tells you, another situation or circumstance that just tells you or tells us how important it is to communicate and communicate consistently, and then also how our messages can be relayed. Perception is everything. So, or delivered to other people, I should say. And see how people could take things. But yeah, anyway, that's it for me. I just wanted to tell you guys, encourage you guys to communicate, give a few examples, again, stress the importance of communication, because there's no reason we shouldn't be able to communicate anymore. I mean, I get it if your phone dies or breaks or something, but another thing we do, we travel with little rosters with people's numbers on it and stuff like that, which is important in the event that your phone something does happen to your phone, or you get disconnected or something. You always have a way to at least have somebody's numbers, in case you don't. I mean, I wouldn't expect anybody to memorize like 26,000 numbers, right? But at least you have a means of contacting somebody. But like I said, anyway, that's it for me. If you like this video and you stress importance and believe in stress communication and believe in its importance just as much as I do, less, more, give me, just let me know what you think in the comments. But anyway, like, subscribe, and share this video if you like it. If you don't like it, still like, subscribe, and share. You all have a wonderful night, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. And then, by the way, tomorrow is when I have my meeting with my advisor, so stay tuned for that. I'll do another video just to let y'all know how it went, and then also tell you where I'm at in the process of actually starting classes. But anyway, y'all have a good night. Love you guys. Later.